Well, it's been a minute since I did a video for this channel. Um, Apologize for that, for anybody that does watch. Um, if you're watching this and you've watched anything of my older ones, you know that I survived my surgery, my splenectomy of a large spleen, which weighed approximately 9 pounds. That journey has not been, wasn't anyway, the most smoothest, as kind of expected. Surgery itself went fine. Recovery originally was fine. Got out of the hospital probably, I don't know, five days after, which is was kind of the plan anyway. And then got home and rested. Tried to rest, I guess, and ended up with pulmonary embolism, coughing, hard to breathe. Good Lord. Kind of just came on pretty quickly. First couple days home, I was fine, and then things just kept getting worse and worse from that standpoint. So, went back to the ER, got me fixed up, got me on a higher dose blood thinner, lowered my platelets, put me on a blood pressure medicine because of the weakening of the heart muscles on the right side slightly, which should be just temporary. And then came back home and battled some fatigue, and then the last couple weeks I felt pretty good. Going back to the gym last week enough, going 3 days a week, doing more cardio, bike riding, and then some machine, either plate loaded or your normal machines for lifting. So all that's going well. Our transplant date was at the end of June, and it got pushed back to the first week of August due to the donor's availability, which is okay with me. It means I might be able to enjoy a little bit more of summer, even though I have to go back to work next week, which is fine. But yeah, I get to hopefully get the boat out, maybe go to Cedar Point. Don't know if I'll get any passes or anything like that, but yeah, we'll see, which is great. One day at a time. I've been doing the iRacing really big. I have a channel on that, doing some live streams, so I've kind of turned that into my project, or keeping me busy besides normal things around the house that I'm trying to get done, especially this week, hopefully. Then outside of all that, just yeah, I mean, that's generally it. I'm looking forward to the transplant, but I'm not looking forward to it. It's going to be the harder, in a different, and probably not hard in a physical aspect, but mentally, maybe physiologically, if that makes sense. From I'm going to be fatigued. It's going to be months of recovery and not weeks like the surgery. Bounced back pretty well after the surgery, to be honest. So, besides the pulmonary embolism, probably would have been even better. But hey, you can't always predict all that stuff. I did lose quite a bit of weight, trying to gain a little bit of it back, but not a lot, right? So I was like 215 going in the surgery. Ended up, when I went back on my checkups after I had the pulmonary embolism and things, that's about 189. So I don't think I've been that light for 20 years, 15 years anyway. So some things that kind of come to light when you go through something like this is your support system, and who really is in your support system. Been fortunate to have immediate family to be my support system. If I didn't have them, probably wouldn't have anybody. I've had some friends reach out. Of course, a lot of people that reached out or post on Facebook, they do it just to make it feel good that they did it. But I understand that everybody has their lives, personal things that they're going through. But it really puts in perspective how important you are in some people's lives, or their personality and how well they check up. I've had people check up on me that I wouldn't even say would be extremely close friends, and then I've had others that are I would consider really close friends, best friends, really haven't said much, or have seen him since I've been in recovery or recovering here, or planned anything. Like, I've had some people take me out to dinner. I've had people stop over and drop me some food off. I've had people take me out to lunch, just general check-ins. And not that I need any of that. It's always good mentally to get out and to socialize and things like that. But it's just weird how some people are more apt at doing that than others, especially with your friends. Are they still friends even though they don't reach out? I mean, sure, but you can compartmentalize them in areas where they need to be compartmentalized, and you don't rank them so high in that aspect. And you got to think, is that part of their personality? And I even got to the point where it's like, well, did I do something to make them upset? But I haven't really been in a situation to do anything to make them upset, right? Maybe I was just that guy that was cool to hang out with on the boat or during golf, and that was it, right? There was anything more meaningful beyond that. And I don't think I treat my relationships that way. I'm sure we're all guilty of it, but I try to be cognizant of you know empathy and sympathy and actually meaning it, right? Especially going through something like cancer treatment. you know Going through itself, you can definitely emphasize more than some other people. And other people might have a bad taste in the mouth when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, you can't take it personal. It's not what I'm really getting at. I'm just trying to keep, giving an update and some things articulated off my chest. So, outside of that, I really don't have anything new. Nothing new in the dating game, right? It's kind of non-existent, especially at this point in my life. I wouldn't say I gave up, but I'm pretty much, into the situation where if it's not blatantly obvious that they have some interest, I would even take just simple eye contact or brief glances, things like that give you some indicators of interest. I would probably approach and say something to them. But I'm pretty invisible to the average woman, and anybody that would be under average, I hate giving a whole lot of attention to, because that's just contributing into inflation, right? So yeah, everybody gets lonely, everybody gets horny, things like that. But going through something like this, I've definitely occupied my time with things that are more important to me. Family, my immediate family, with my daughter, right? My health, my mental health. Reading a, Starting to back up a book at night. Reading the Bible within a year. Every morning. Getting back to work and figuring out what I want to accomplish within this month and a half. Trying to be back. Things around the house, trying to get that spruced up a little bit if I can, and if I'm physically capable of doing that. Which physically, yes, but fatigue-wise, I do run out of steam because of the low counts due with the medicines and stuff that I do take. So right now, obviously, when I go through this transplant, and a year from now, 6 months from now, who knows how long recovery is going to be back to where I was feeling previously, and hopefully better. Then I won't have to worry about this so much. But uh it's been an interesting ride. I think mentally I've handled it well. I think I've handled this well more than I do mentally handling some other things emotionally well. But again, from a dating perspective, it's non-existent. I don't have any success with dating apps, even with professional photos done, or optimizing my social media, even though I've optimized it for just, my normal life of what I do, going on the lake, boating, being active, being family oriented, doing the sim racing thing too. I'm sure that's not that attractive, but it's always attractive when guys have hobbies, and I got a slew of them. Maintain pretty good shape too, but it's difficult, and it's to the point where it's really just not worth the squeeze, especially right now in my life. I have other important things to worry about, and I'm sure that's probably going to carry over when I get out of here. Definitely being a little bit more picky. Um, so I don't want to drag on any longer. Just wanted to give an update that I'm still 6 feet above ground and standing vertical. But if you do watch this video, share a comment on anything that you're going through, that you're struggling with, or any advice with my situation, or if you want to learn more or know more about my situation or any of my perspectives, obviously leave a comment, um, like the video, and you can subscribe if you want. I'm not guaranteeing you that I'm going to be posting all the time, but I'll try to make it a little more frequent than I have, obviously, since recovery. I had an idea of doing some in the hospital, but just physically, it just didn't feel like it. So that's probably understandable. So, anyway, hopefully if you're watching this, have a good rest of your morning, your evening, your day, your night, whatever it might be, whenever you do eventually come across this. So appreciate it.